Have you ever seen a ghost in your own home? Not the kind that rattles chains, but the kind that wears your wife's face and sleeps in your bed. I saw one for the first time on a Tuesday, illuminated by the cold blue glow of her phone screen at 2 a.m. Her thumb was moving, a frantic little dance across the glass, a smile ghosting her lips that I hadn't seen directed at me in years. The screen was angled just away, a deliberate barrier. I didn't know it then, but I was already a dead man in my own life. I was just waiting for the official notice. That little blue light was the first flicker of the fire that would burn my entire world to the ground. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Jessica wasn't just my wife. She was my entire world. We built a life in a quiet suburb of Chicago, in a house with a porch swing and a garden I tended every weekend. I thought we were happy. I thought the foundation was solid, but cracks had been forming for a while, so small I dismissed them as the normal settling of a long-term marriage. The late nights, she claimed, were work dinners. The sudden, almost obsessive need for privacy with her phone and laptop. The way she'd flinch if I touched her unexpectedly. She started talking about a new friend from her book club, then a new project at work that demanded all her energy. The excuses were a smokescreen, and I, the trusting fool, walked right into them. The real discovery wasn't a single event, but a slow, agonizing bleed. It started with a receipt I found in her Cote Paquita hotel bar. The Drake on Michigan Avenue, dated for a Wednesday afternoon. She was supposed to be in a client meeting. When I asked, her eyes went cold. "Are you checking up on me?" She'd snapped, her voice dripping with a venom that stunned me. She was a master of manipulation, turning my concern into an accusation, making me the villain. The woman I loved was replaced by a cold, calculating stranger who looked at me with contempt. She and her secret man, whoever he was, felt untouchable, wrapped in a bubble of arrogance while I was left outside, drowning. The breaking point came when I found the prescription bottles hidden in the back of her closet. Not just one, but 3, all from the same pharmacy, Windy City Apothecary. The names on the labels weren't hers. Sarah Jenkins, Nicole Peterson, Emily White. My blood ran cold. My wife wasn't just cheating. She was involved in something far more intricate and illegal. My grief, the raw, howling pain of betrayal, began to curdle. It hardened into something else, something cold and sharp. I sat on the floor of our closet, surrounded by her expensive clothes and the scent of her perfume, and I broke. The sobs were silent, racking my body. And in that darkness, a new man was born. The loyal husband died, and a strategist took his place. I started gathering proof. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who specialized in marital infidelity. He was worth every penny. He got photos of Jessica and a man I didn't recognize, kissing in a parking garage near Millennium Park. The man was smugged, with a self-satisfied smirk. The PI's report identified him. Mark, the head pharmacist at Windy City Apothecary. The fake prescription suddenly made a horrifying kind of sense. This wasn't just an affair. It was a criminal conspiracy. They were using her, my wife, to illegally dispense medication. I contacted a lawyer, the sharpest, most ruthless divorce attorney in Chicago. We didn't just plan a divorce. We planned a demolition. We documented everything. The affair, the fraudulent prescriptions, the text messages I managed to recover from our shared cloud account. The trap was set. The public exposure was a masterpiece of coordinated destruction. On the day of our 10-year anniversary, I arranged a surprise party. I invited all our friends, her family, her colleagues. As she stood there, beaming, ready to receive accolades for a decade of our perfect marriage, the projector screen behind her flickered to life. It wasn't a slideshow of our happy memories. It was the photos. Jessica and Mark in the parking garage. Then came the bank statements, showing large, unexplained cash deposits into her personal account. Then the piece de resistance, a recorded phone call with the state pharmacy board, where an anonymous tipster me detailed a fraudulent prescription scheme operating out of Windy City Apothecary, naming both Mark and the women whose names were on the bottles. The room went silent. The air crackled with shock. Jessica's face, a mask of horror, was illuminated for everyone to see. Her mother gasped. Her boss just stared, stone-faced. She turned to me, her eyes wide with a mixture of hatred and disbelief. "How could you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I just looked at her, my face a blank canvas, and said nothing. The social and professional fallout was immediate. She was fired. Her family disowned her. The legal hammer came down next. Mark was arrested, his pharmacy shut down pending a federal investigation. Jessica was named as a co-conspirator. In the divorce proceedings, the evidence was so overwhelming she got nothing. No house, no alimony, no dignity. She was utterly, completely ruined. I sold the house. I moved to a small, quiet apartment overlooking the lake. Sometimes I walk by the shuttered building that used to be Windy City Apothecary, a tombstone for the life I once knew. The revenge wasn't sweet, it was just necessary. It was the only way to cauterize a wound that deep. It was no victory, only the vast, empty silence where a marriage used to be. I never saw her again, but I heard she works as a waitress in a diner off the interstate 100 miles from Chicago. The end.